We are taking you into the news right now with the Fox 45 news feed. It's 11 a.m., a final farewell. We're going to take you live overseas where thousands are gathering to pay their respects at the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II. Topping our local news, continued concerns about the safety of water in West Baltimore, the demands that residents are making. And Adnan Syed, the man at the center of the popular podcast Serial, is due back in court today. The new hearing that could see him out of jail in just a matter of hours. Fox 45 News Midday starts now.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Midday.
Thanks for joining us for Fox 45 News Midday. I'm Patrice Sanders. In just a matter of hours, Adnan Syed, the man at the center of the popular podcast Serial, could see his murder conviction overturned. He was convicted of killing his high school girlfriend, Heyman Lee, more than 20 years ago. But today, that could all change. Attorneys for Syed confirmed that a hearing will take place this afternoon. It all comes at the request of prosecutors. Olivia Dans is outside circuit court with a look at what we can expect from that hearing. Olivia.
The hearing begins at 2 right behind me here at Circuit Court, and there is a chance that Adnan Syed could be freed today. Now, this hearing comes after the city state's attorney's office filed for a new trial, saying new evidence needs to be considered. But some experts have concerns about the timing of the announcement, considering state's attorney Marilyn Mosby is also facing trial herself.
She's had 8 years to review this case, and now she finds compelling evidence after she's been booted from office and after the federal court is going forward with her trial. It's not a coincidence that Marilyn Mosby is doing something that's in her best interest.
Timing is absolutely curious in terms of coincidental with her trial and attempting to pander to Adnan Syed's followers.
And for some background, Adnan Syed was found guilty of strangling his girlfriend to death 22 years ago. But the state's attorney's office says they've identified 2 unnamed suspects. They question the phone records used to convict Syed, and they also say advanced DNA testing hasn't pointed to him. The state's attorney says she isn't convinced that Syed is innocent, but that these findings call for a new trial, and she's demanding he be set free. We're also expecting to hear from Mosby after the hearing. And 4 years ago, Maryland's highest court rejected a new trial, and 1 year after that, the U.S. Supreme Court also refused a new trial. So we'll just have to see if things go differently at today's hearing. For now, reporting in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dans, Fox 45 Midday.
Now to a live look over Windsor. A somber day for the United Kingdom as the world says goodbye to a queen whose reign spanned more than 7 decades, the longest reigning monarch in British history. Thousands lined the streets to say their final goodbye to their late monarch. Details of today's funeral have been in the planning stages for years. Each moment well thought out and with the Queen's input.
Jesus saith unto him, Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. Thanks be to God.
Now, following the service, the Queen making her final journey out of London to Windsor Castle, where she will lay next to her husband of 73 years, Prince Philip. The Queen's funeral and passing marks the first time Prince William and Prince Harry have been seen together publicly in years. Prince Harry and wife Meghan stepped back from their royal duties in 2020. Now, the funeral is also bringing together world leaders from across the globe, including President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. Stay with Fox 45 News for continuing coverage of the passing of Queen Elizabeth and the new reign of King Charles. We'll have a closer look at your reaction to it all coming up in about 10 minutes, and we'll have a complete recap on our Fox 45 News at 4. 11:04 now. Here's a look at today's top trending stories. Trending number 1 happening today. Community leaders and residents are gathering to demand answers about last month's water crisis in West Baltimore. They are meeting at City Hall to discuss the city's response. They also want to talk about water rates and safety. Fox 45 News will be at that meeting later today to hear residents' concerns and to see how city leaders are addressing those concerns. You can visit our website at foxbaltimore.com for updates. Trending number 2, with the final weekend of summer behind us, the city is recovering from an especially violent summer. Baltimore saw nearly 100 homicides and is nearing 250 deadly shootings. And there are still 3 months left in the year. Trending number 3, amid Baltimore's uptick in violence, Mayor Brandon Scott announces a complete overhaul of the violence prevention intervention program, Safe Streets. In less than a month, the community-based organizations that oversee Safe Streets will change hands. That supervision will now be done by just 2 groups, LifeBridge Health and Catholic Charities. In the past, Safe Streets was run by a series of nonprofits. The mayor hopes that this consolidation will improve communication. Trending number 4, not so happy Monday for Ravens fans after losing to the Miami Dolphins in their Week 2 home opener on Sunday. The team missing some key offensive starters, running back J.K. Dobbins and left tackle Ronnie Stanley, both sitting out. But on the other hand, they did see the return of cornerback Marcus Peters after missing all of last season with a torn ACL. Download the Fox 45 News app for up-to-the-minute traffic conditions, breaking news, weather, anytime. Just search WBFF in your app store. Still ahead, no more valedictorians? Why one school district is considering doing away with that honor. Now pregnant with her 4th child, Chrissy Teigen is opening up about the loss of her 3rd. Coming up, the new understanding she says she now has. And we are continuing to look back at the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. We'll show you the intimate moments during this morning's state funeral.
We've got a warm afternoon ahead, and we do have the potential of seeing a stray pop-up thunderstorm, especially later into the afternoon and evening time tonight. Definitely a summer-like feel around here with temperatures well above average. We'll top out in the upper 80s today. Overnight lows drop into the upper 60s and then back to the mid-80s on Tuesday. We'll take a closer look at this forecast and what we can expect as we head into fall coming up.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
(11:08), taking a look at your social stream, the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II. Thousands lining the streets to pay their respects and to say one final goodbye. Services for the Queen were held this morning inside Westminster Hall. Westminster Abbey's tenor bell chiming once a minute for 96 minutes, marking each year of Queen Elizabeth II's life. Following the service, the Queen made a final journey out of London, there to Windsor Castle, where she will be laid to rest next to her husband of 73 years, Prince Philip. Now, today's funeral follows 10 days of mourning that had included multiple public events, many of which have been attended by state and overseas guests. However, Sunday's reception at Buckingham Palace did not include the Queen's own grandson, Harry, and his wife, Meghan. Now, the couple was sent an invitation for the state occasion, but it was later announced that the invitation was sent by mistake, as the event was only for working royals. You got a lot of people reacting to that. Myra says, Prince Harry is the jewel of this family, and if that statement of fact bothers you, it's because you're in denial. They lost out when Harry and Meghan left, big time. In every single photo, no matter what he wears, he pulls attention straight away. Such a commanding presence. You've got another person, Diane, saying, God bless her. It's almost impossible to imagine life without her. My parents gave me Elizabeth as my middle name in her honor, and I carry it proudly. God save the king. Chrissy Teigen is sharing new details about the loss of her son, Jack, when she was 20 weeks pregnant. In the past, when speaking about her loss, the 36-year-old labeled it as a pregnancy loss. But the cookbook author says she now has come to understand that it was a life-saving abortion, saying the child had no chance of survival, and without medical intervention, neither did she. Teigen says the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade helped her to understand what had actually happened to her. You've got people talking about it. Mary says Chrissy Teigen's heartbreaking experience over losing a child she desperately wanted and confusion over not realizing her medical care was an abortion for over a year is a perfect example of why the only person who should be making these decisions are the women themselves. Patty says for so many women, miscarriages require an abortion. The abortion is the medical intervention that saves them from additional harm. It is such a shame that we even have to explain these details to people in order to protect our reproductive rights. My heart is still with y'all. Well, it is going to get more expensive to hail a cab in New York City. Fares in the Big Apple could rise about 23% and would be the first fare increase in 10 years. The Taxi and Limousine Commission says the rate hikes are needed to ensure that drivers can cover increasing expenses. What are you saying about that? Joe says, get rid of them. And then you've got someone else saying the way New York has treated its cab drivers is a disgrace. Well, still ahead, cab fare isn't the only thing going up in price. So are groceries. Just how much more you're paying now than you were last year. And the November election is just 2 months away. What a new poll is revealing about Marylanders' views and opinions heading into the voting booth. 11:12, you're watching Fox 45 Midday. We are taking another live look from Windsor Castle, the Queen's final resting place, flanked there by her family members. Well, it is 11:14 now, and we are less than 2 months from the November election, and we're getting a new look at how Marylanders may vote. Shannon Lilly breaks down the new Goucher College poll. Shannon?
Well, we're learning that voters are largely set on the governor's race, with Democratic gubernatorial candidate Wes Moore viewed favorably. In fact, take a look at these results right here on your screen. They show you that if the general election for Maryland governor were held today, 53% say they will vote for Moore and 31% for the Republican nominee, Dan Cox. 9% of Maryland likely voters are currently undecided. Now, Maryland likely voters were also asked how they view the Democratic and Republican nominees for governor. Moore received a 53% favorable vote compared to a 33% unfavorable vote. And take a look. Cox, on the other hand, received a 30% favorable vote compared with a 53% unfavorable vote. Now, likely voters were asked to select 3 issues from a list that could determine their choice for governor. The most selected areas of concern are the economy and taxes, crime and public safety, and public schools and education. As for current approval ratings, Governor Larry Hogan still sitting at a high one, with 62% of Marylanders approving of the job he's doing as governor. But Marylanders are split on President Biden, with 48% approving and 48% disapproving. Now, former President Trump is viewed favorably by just 32% of the vote. A majority of 61% view him unfavorably. And this Goucher poll surveyed more than 1,000 Maryland residents, 748 of which are likely voters. Reporting in Harbor East, I'm Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 News, midday.
Making headlines this morning, Wegmans says it is ending its self-checkout app feature due to an increase in theft. The store rolled out a mobile scan app in 2019. It let customers scan, bag, and pay for groceries while they shopped and then skipped the checkout line altogether. Problem is, it led to rampant shoplifting. So Wegmans announced plans this week to shut down the app, though the company wouldn't say exactly how much money it's lost. A new government report shows food prices have climbed 13.5% over the past year. It is the highest jump in a single year since 1979. According to the Agriculture Department, eggs have jumped the most in price. A dozen large grade A eggs has hit a record high of $3.12. That is up 92.3% from just 1 year ago. A hearing today will play a critical role in the fate of Adnan Syed, the latest on a judge's decision that could vacate a murder conviction from over 20 years ago. And were they mismanaged? Was there criminal activity, or were they just not working? Digging deeper and pressing city leaders on the reasons behind overhauling the Safe Streets program. And a dangerous high-speed car chase ending in Baltimore County is just the most recent example. We're looking into what can be done to prevent crime from bleeding into nearby counties. All of that's coming up tonight. You can get Fox 45 News in a flash through your Amazon Alexa or Echo. We now deliver your local headlines and forecasts in less than 2 minutes. If you have an Amazon device, tell it to enable Fox 45 Baltimore. 11:17 and now to today's talking point. Broadway's longest running show is scheduled to close next year. The Phantom of the Opera has been a fixture on Broadway since 1988. The COVID-19 pandemic hit Broadway hard, with all theaters closed for more than 18 months. The musical is costly to maintain, and box office numbers have fluctuated since the show reopened. The final performance is set for February 18th of next year, just weeks after its 35th anniversary. Mark Clark with Be More Lifestyle is here now. And Mark, I've never seen that. I kind of feel like I need to get it in before it's gone.
Well, Patrice, first of all, you've had many opportunities.
I did.
you ain't going to get it in, Patrice. Okay?
Right, because now all the tickets will be sold out between now and February.
Well, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. This has been running since I graduated from college. It's time for a break. You know what I mean?
So you're not saying you're not mad to see it go?
No, it's like sometimes in relationships, you know, somebody just gonna always be there no matter what. Sometimes you need to shake it up.
Well, but to that point, I just went to see. I saw Lion King 20 plus years ago when that first came out. I just took my daughter to go see it a few months ago.
Okay, Patrice, we need to.
Things recycle.
We need to get now. Have you heard of something called Rent? The play Rent?
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna go see that? Patrice, you need to get caught up now. Come on now, the Lion King.
Well, I mean, Lion King. It's Lion King. My 8-year-old daughter. I wanted her to see the spectacle of that and just on Broadway and the whole thing. We also saw MJ while we were there that same trip. So
which is amazing, by the way.
There we go. So we did a little modern. We did a little old school. But I like theater, so I feel like I want to get that in before it's too late.
Well, Patrice, you had 35 years, but okay, you're right.
Okay, so I recently like theater.
That's a great, but you know what? That's a great Christmas gift for those who are watching.
I have other things on my list. That's going to be.
This is the problem right here, Patrice. This is the problem right here.
I'm going to get it in. I'm going to get it in, maybe.
Well,
all right.
Again, congrats. It is a great.
There's going to be other ones right behind this. What's the Les Mis? That's
They missed.
Another long-running one. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Tina on Broadway, another great one.
Well, that's new. That's going to be around for a while.
That's
All
true.
right, Mark, we got to go.
We gotta go. Okay, hey, go back to the show.
We are tracking the potential for a summer storm this afternoon, but as meteorologist Justin Chambers shows us, it is nothing compared to those in Puerto Rico feeling the effect of Hurricane Fiona.
Just incredible video you can see right here. This has been circulating across the internet. A bridge completely being washed away. This is all from the extensive flooding that's taking place in Puerto Rico, all from Hurricane Fiona, which is still a very strong storm, expecting to get even stronger as it makes its way north of the Dominican and into the open waters of the Atlantic. Right now, does not look like it's going to pose a threat for the United States, but folks in Puerto Rico still are without power. Meanwhile, a lot nicer for us here at home. A warm afternoon ahead, definitely feeling summer-like. We do have that potential of a stray pop-up thunderstorm a little bit later this afternoon and into the evening time, with temperatures staying well above average for this time of year. On your hour-by-hour forecast, mid to upper 80s is what we're going to see throughout the day today. When that 2 and 3 o'clock hour, right about 89. That number about 10 degrees above average. You can see the average number down there for this time of year, typically upper 70s. Now with our dew point trend, also going to feel a little sticky out there. So 62, that's the dew point this afternoon. Numbers drop a little bit on Tuesday and then back into the 60s on Wednesday. So we still have a few more days of kind of that muggy feeling before we'll definitely be drier and cooler toward the end of the week. Still a few good days to hang out by the pool as well, with those temperatures staying in the 80s. Again, watch for a pop-up thunderstorm later today. Low to mid and upper 80s across central Maryland and up and down the 95 corridor for this afternoon, with upper 80s in Philly and D.C., 89 in Baltimore, 81 down the ocean there. Here's a look at our future scan. The cold front coming through later this afternoon into the evening. 8, 9 o'clock tonight, our best chance to see a pop-up storm. That could impact at least the start of the O's game as they are back at Camden Yards tonight. And then tomorrow, we're definitely drier and a little bit cooler into Tuesday and Wednesday. Then another weather maker is going to roll in by late Wednesday night into Thursday. That's right as we approach autumn, first day of fall. So here's that 10-day forecast. Those 80s staying with us through at least Thursday. Then those numbers drop off. Friday and Saturday, we're back to the 70s. And we'll see those temperatures warm up slightly on Sunday and into early next week.
All right, Justin, thank you. Still ahead, adding fish to your diet could do more than just add flavor to your plate. How a new study finds it could reduce your risk of premature death. But first, Nissan is recalling more than 200,000 new trucks over concerns that they could just roll away. Coming up, the temporary fixed drivers are being told about as the company works on a permanent one. 11:22 now on Fox 45 News Midday. 11:25. Don't miss this. If you hear people talking a little funny today, you're going to know why. It's International Talk Like a Pirate Day. The idea was born nearly 30 years ago when two friends on a racquetball court started ribbing each other in pirate slang. That's all it takes. I'm coming up with a day. I'm going to make my own day if that's all it takes. Well, amid falling revenue, Bed Bath & Beyond is closing 150 stores, and the company has just put out a list of 50 of those stores. Right now, none on the list are in Maryland, but there are still 100 to be named. The company says it hopes closing low-performing stores will help others stay open. Nissan is recalling more than 200,000 pickup trucks over concerns that the trucks could roll away. The recall covers Frontier and Titan pickups from the 2020 through 2023 model years. Nissan says it is not aware of any crashes or injuries. The company is still working on repairs. Owners are being told to use the parking brake whenever they park their trucks. Time now for your lunch break, and you may want to consider adding more fish to your diet. A new study finds it may help fight off diabetes. A review of nearly 60 studies looked at links between dietary habits and type 2 diabetes. Researchers found adding more fish and dairy products can help to prevent the illness. A serving of fish a week was linked to a 5% lower risk of premature death. Drinking 200 grams of milk a day had a 10% lower risk of early death. Well, that's all we have for Fox 45 News Midday. Be More Lifestyle is coming up. Mark Clark is back to tell us what they're working on. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Patrice, thanks so much. More and more stores are asking shoppers for tips. Have you noticed it? Coming up, we'll look at what's driving the trend and if it's going too far. Stick around.